Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS. Let's get to the news all right, so let's dive into what's been buzzing around the league and how it could shake things up for the Falcons. Rumors are swirling from inside NFL circles that the Cincinnati Bengals, currently sitting at a disappointing 4-9 record and clearly in rebuild mode for 2025, are contemplating a bold move that could drastically reshape their roster, and more importantly, their division rivals' outlook. The player in question, T. Higgins. Yes, the same dynamic wide receiver who's been a reliable target for Joe Burrow and a key piece of the Bengals' passing attack. Now the whispers are that the Bengals are considering trading Higgins for a second-round pick in the 2026 draft. The rationale? They're trying to free up around $14 million in cap space, money that they want to redirect toward bolstering their offensive line and investing in young talent. It's a move that makes sense from a rebuilding standpoint, getting draft capital now and creating room to develop future stars. But what makes this really interesting is the timing. The Bengals, after a tough season that's seen their offense falter, especially after the extension for Joe Burrow and with their defense giving up over 150 yards on the ground per game, are prioritizing roster flexibility for next season. They're also still feeling the sting of some recent struggles on offense, which have seen their passing game regress, especially after the Chase holdout earlier this year. But the real question is, what could this mean for the Falcons? Well, for starters, Atlanta has been itching for that game-changing receiver to elevate their aerial attack. Their passing game has been inconsistent, averaging just 5 points per game, and with injuries hitting key guys like Drake London, who's been hampered by a hamstring injury, finding reliable targets has been a challenge. Higgins, when healthy, is exactly the type of receiver Atlanta needs: big, physical, and a matchup nightmare. He's known for his ability to make contested catches and win mismatches against smaller defensive backs, making him an ideal fit to complement Kyle Pitts and Drake London. In the 2025 season so far, Higgins has shown flashes of his true potential. Despite missing some time with a shoulder injury, he still managed to rack up 58 receptions on 92 targets for over 820 yards and 4 touchdowns in just 12 games. His yards per reception stands at 14. And he's been a red zone threat with a 75% success rate, demonstrating his ability to come through when it counts. His overall PFF grade is an impressive 88. And he's been highly efficient with an EPA per target of plus 0.32. Plus, he's accumulated over 350 yards after the catch, showcasing his explosiveness and ability to turn short plays into big gains. What's particularly exciting about Higgins joining Atlanta is the mismatch potential he brings. As a true X-factor in the red zone, he can be the guy who turns close games into Falcons victories, especially in divisional matchups against teams like the Bucs and Saints. His presence would open up the field for the Falcons' other weapons, allowing Arthur Smith to unleash more creative passing concepts and stretch defenses vertically. The addition of Higgins could also have a significant impact on the Falcons' overall passing yards per game, pushing that number closer to 280 yards, similar to how the Seahawks benefited from the Metcalf trade last year, boosting their aerial attack significantly. Imagine Higgins lining up against smaller cornerbacks, creating mismatches that defenses simply can't handle. With his ability to win contested catches and his knack for finding soft spots in zone coverage, he would become a go-to target for Desmond Ridder, helping him develop confidence and consistency in the passing game. This upgrade could turn Atlanta into a true playoff contender, especially if the defense continues to improve and the offense finds its rhythm. The Falcons have already shown flashes of their potential this season, but adding a player like Higgins could be the final piece needed to push them over the top. Looking at the bigger picture, this move could also shift the entire NFC South dynamic. The Falcons, currently sitting at 4-8 with an offense that struggled to put points on the board, would instantly become more dangerous. Higgins, combined with the other weapons and a developing offensive line, could help Atlanta average close to 280-290 passing yards per game. That kind of production would make them a much more formidable opponent, especially in the playoffs. The NFC South has been a competitive division, but with the Bucs and Saints also trying to rebuild and retool, the Falcons could seize this opportunity to establish dominance. In terms of playoff odds, the Falcons currently sit outside the top contenders, with odds around +30 to win the Super Bowl. But if they manage to land Higgins and integrate him seamlessly into the offense, those odds could drastically improve, possibly up to +10, 0, or even better. Higgins could become the X factor in the postseason, especially in high-pressure moments where red zone efficiency and contested catches matter the most. His presence would not only boost the offense, but also send a message to the entire league. The Falcons are serious about contending and building a sustainable winning culture. From a strategic standpoint, the Falcons would need to weigh how to incorporate Higgins into their offensive scheme. Arthur Smith's system is known for its balanced approach, mixing run and pass, but Higgins' ability to stretch the field and win contested catches in tight spaces would add a new dimension. His arrival might also take some pressure off Pitts and Jonnu Smith, giving Ritter multiple reliable options on third downs and in critical situations. It's a move that could accelerate Atlanta's rebuild, making them more explosive and less predictable on offense. Of course, this is all speculative for now, and the Bengals are in a tricky spot. They're clearly in rebuild mode, and trading Higgins could be a clear signal that they're prioritizing future assets over current production. But for Falcons fans, the possibility of landing a player of Higgins' caliber is incredibly exciting. It's the kind of move that can define a franchise's trajectory for years to come, especially if it helps turn Atlanta into a perennial playoff team with Super Bowl aspirations. So in summary, this potential trade could be a game changer. Higgins would bring a much-needed upgrade to the Falcons' passing game, creating mismatches, boosting red zone efficiency, and elevating the overall offensive threat. It's a move that could turn the Falcons into a serious contender in the NFC, especially in the playoffs, where having a reliable, big-bodied receiver can make all the difference. The division rivals better watch out, because Atlanta could be on the verge of something special if this deal goes through. The season isn't over yet, but the signs point to a bright future, and Higgins might just be the missing piece to ignite the Falcons' Super Bowl run. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Atlanta Falcons news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential move? Do you believe Higgins could be the difference maker that finally pushes Atlanta over the top? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Falcons. Remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Atlanta Falcons news. The journey to a Super Bowl might just be getting a little more exciting, and it's all happening right here with you, the best fans in the league.